Hello and welcome to New Mommy at 40 podcast. I am your host, Victoria Lauture Duncker, and I am so excited that you've come on in and you're checking us out. It is our second season. Season 2 is launching today. So thank you for coming in. For those of you who are coming back, man, I don't know how to thank you. You have remained engaged the entire time. We did last season, and I took a little bit of a break to just replenish, refresh. And you have been engaged the entire time, sending me emails and DMs, checking in on me after I went through some hard times, which I'll also discuss for those who are new here. And I really, really appreciate it. And I appreciate this community so, so much. For those of you who are checking us out, welcome. Thank you for giving us a shot and coming on in. We are actually a nominated podcast. We were nominated for Best Podcast in the Kids and Family category for the People's Choice Podcast Awards last year, which was fantastic, an amazing surprise. I'm so proud of what we were able to do last year. And this is basically a honest, informative, non-judgmental space for those of us who are in our advanced maternal age, who are either thinking about being parents, already are parents, doing it all over again. That's what this space is for, just to talk about all those things and the things that affect our little bubble of community specifically. So I'm so, so happy that you're here. One of the things that I think comes up a lot in our age group or in this age group is just family planning and how we're going to do it. So some of us uh, get pregnant just like that. Some of us find out along the way after trying that we need some help and seek out fertility treatment. Some of us have gotten to a place where we realize that it's difficult for us to have a family in the traditional way and are seeking other ways. We are here celebrating many different paths to motherhood and parenthood. So, wherever you are along on that journey, you are welcome. And if you're younger than the advanced maternal age and you're just peeking in to see what we're talking about to get an idea if you want to be a parent, welcome too. We're happy to have you. So, one of the things that we are going to be talking about today is something that I think a lot of people who are having fertility issues or have even suffered actual losses, we deal with every once in a while, is when a close friend or friend around us is pregnant and how they tell us the news, their beautiful, amazing, joyous news. Now, there's definitely a bad way to do it, which is, hey, I'm pregnant. It was so easy. Oh my God. Like, we only tried once and then boom. Can you imagine? Can you believe it? That may not be the best way to announce a pregnancy to someone who has gone through loss, that has gone through loss or has had fertility issues. Still happy for you, but there might be a better way. And there is a right way to do it, a better way, a more uh, sensitive, aware way to give that news without necessarily having to dim your light and take away from your joy. So, this came up recently, and I really wanted to take a moment to just from my point of view, for those of you who are new here, I have suffered now 4 miscarriages and 2 failed IVF rounds, but I have one amazing 2-year-old. I'm the mother to an almost 3-year-old baby girl that my husband and I were so lucky to bring into this world and be chosen to be her parents. However, even for us, right, with having a child, you would think, oh, this, shouldn't be a problem telling my friend that I'm pregnant. However, it is sensitive if you know that we have suffered losses and have had difficulty in planning our family or expanding on our family. So I this came up recently with a really dear friend, and I wanted to get into it. So we're going to talk about it. But before we do, I really would love for you to subscribe, follow wherever you're watching or listening to this right now, because that's how you'll never miss an episode and we can get to know each other a little bit. And I have some really amazing things that I'll be sharing towards the end of the podcast that are coming up with New Mommy at 40 this year that I'm so excited. And I need your help. I need your feedback. So you can find me on Instagram, um, Facebook at New Mommy at 40. And I'm also available by email at info at newmommy@40.com, on our website, www.newmommyat40.com as well. So let's get into the topic. So basically, I have a really beautiful friend who is family to me. She truly is a sister to me. And we've known each other since we were children. And I'm 44 now. I've known her most of my life. And recently she called to share the news that she was pregnant and she has other children. And we're the same age. And she called. But during the call, I realized that I'm probably the last close friend to know, and it's about 5 months in. She's literally almost 6 months pregnant. And I remember in the course of that call, and also it was a FaceTime call. So I was watching her as she was telling me, and I'm just looking at her. I'm like, she looks pregnant. And to be honest, I had a feeling that she was already pregnant months ago. We really are that in tune. And one of her pregnancies, I actually dreamt of her and I knew she was pregnant. And I remember getting the phone and I said, "Are you pregnant?" And she said, "Oh my God, how do you know?" And I knew. I just knew. So that's how close we are. So keep in mind as I go into this topic, it really depends on the closeness of this friendship, right? So you may decide, someone's not that close. I think it's very important for the person who is pregnant to validate, to feel good about their decision on telling someone or not. It's always up to you. We have the standard of, okay, let's make it to 3 months. So culturally, a lot of people do that too before they share the news, which is totally fine. I'm just speaking about close friendships that you have with someone that you really, really, really adore and care for, and how to break that news to them. So in our case, as she told me, and I realized how far along she was, I knew that this was not out of malice. She loves me, without a doubt. We are there for each other no matter what, and we will for the rest of our lives. So this is not a matter of me feeling like she did anything to hurt me. And in fact, I know that she did so out of love. She really, truly cared so much about my feelings that she didn't want to trigger me by telling me the news at maybe a time where I was going through a difficult time. I hadn't had the fourth loss yet, but I had recently, I think within about 4 month period, had just gone through another failed IVF attempt. So I know that it was out of love. However, out of love for her, I would really have loved to have been there for her earlier in this pregnancy as I have in the past. So the love was canceling each other out in a little bit there, in this situation. So I thought to myself, this probably is something that maybe a lot of people are going through. Whether you are the person with the issue, the fertility issue, or have suffered a loss already, and you start noticing that people are acting very strangely or differently around you, kind of delicately, even, which I have to say, as someone who has suffered loss, is truly appreciated because it is a loss, folks. It's one of the hardest things I've been through. Losing my mom was the toughest, I think. But going through multiple losses is really, really difficult. And I can't imagine, for someone who's actually given birth and lost a child, that's a whole other level of grief, but it's all grief. So it is right to be a little sensitive about how to tell your friend, but the most important thing I think is to remember that this is a friendship. There's foundation that has been built there. So you don't want that friend to be the last to know. You definitely don't want your friend to find out on like social media before you tell them. So there are definitely ways to not do this, and I don't feel that what my friend did was bad, but it did make me think, wow, there might be a lot of people who are on either the side of being the friend with the fertility issues and kind of feeling like the pariah in your social group because everyone is walking on eggshells around you, or being the friend who is pregnant and trying to figure out how to honor their truth and enjoy this amazing moment in their lives, and then having to figure out how much do I need to cater to my friends' feelings who's had trouble. So I wanted to kind of give you a top five, or give you a phrase that I think that I probably would have wanted to hear, so that you have it from the perspective of someone who has had loss and fertility issues. And it's something I think I would want to hear, but it is meant for you to take and dissect and make it sound like your own. So this is what I came up with. So what I feel could have been a good way to say it is this way: I have some news to share with you. Our friendship is so important to me, and I love that it's solid enough for us to hold space for each other in times of challenges, but we also celebrate each other in our times of joy. So, today I have some really joyful news to share with you. I'm pregnant. So, this is what I hear in that. And as a matter of fact, as I'm reading it, as I'm saying it out loud, I do feel that it might even be a good idea to send this to someone, text it or email it. Why? Because it gives you've released the information, you've shared, you've told them how important they are to you and how important this news is to you. But you've also given them the space to have whatever reaction that they're going to have without you necessarily being responsible for supporting, and not necessarily supporting, but like the weight of whatever might come from that, from that person's point of view at that moment of hearing this news. Because here's the fact: yes, will there be moments of, I wouldn't say anger, jealousy, maybe that's too harsh of a word, but maybe just grief again of like, wow, everyone is pregnant around me. And I have to say, I feel that this happens a lot to me. I think this last one really, which was more recent, really hit me. You just start noticing all around you all of the bellies. It's kind of like when you buy a new car, right? And you've done your research, you want this particular car, but you don't really see it everywhere. You don't think you do. Then you come off of the lot and you drive out, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's one right next to me. There's one. I see they're everywhere. That's kind of the feeling, I think. Maybe other people who've gone through what I've gone through uh, might equate it to that. It's kind of feels like that. And truly, unless you've gone through this, you really don't have a threshold for how to navigate it. So I hope this is helpful. But going back to that statement, it may be emailing or texting if you're having a really hard time picking up the phone to kind of make this sound like your own. Texting something like this is a good way, or emailing it is a good way to let that person read the information and have their own moments, whatever they're going to go through. Take a deep breath and be there for you when they're ready. And I think that might be a good way. But if you whatever way you decide to share something along the lines of that, here is what I think comes out of that. The top 5 things I think when someone if someone should send something like that to someone like me. I think what you're saying is that this person, this friendship, this relationship is valued by you. You value her and all of the experiences that you've had together. You're offering her a moment to be your friend in your time of joy. And I think that is what you want to do for a friend, someone that you truly care for. And it highlights what you've done for each other all along. So this time is no different. It's no different in the sense that, you know, this is the part of friendship that you want to be there for your friend. It might be difficult though, and that's okay. I think it's by saying it this way, you know, you're honoring that. I know this might be difficult for you, and I honor what you've gone through, but I would love for you to be there for me in this time. So I think that's giving them an opportunity to be there for you and to return the support that you probably have given to them. And you don't want to treat your friend with fertility issues like the pariah in your group, like the fragile one. They're the one that you care for and that I'm sure would want for them to experience this at one point, but don't treat them that differently because it really sticks out. They really feel it that way. Number 2, you're also validating her experiences without sacrificing your joy. Validation in all forms, in all types of relationships, is so incredibly important. It makes us feel seen, heard, and appreciated. It is possible, though, to validate someone without throwing your own feelings under the bus. So keep that in mind. I don't want you to dim your light because someone else might be having moments of darkness. Both can exist at the same time. Sorry for the clicking if you hear it, and my radiator is going crazy. Um, you're also saying, I see you and hold space for what you've been through, but above all, you are a good friend. And this is something that I want to celebrate with you, and that I trust that you are capable of being the friend to me that I've been to you in this very moment too. I get that's what I would get from reading that, is like, wow, like I'm one of the few that she's told because she really finds that I'm significant in her life. Um, And you're probably giving them hope too. This is number 4. You calling them is probably giving them some inspiration that, hey, this can happen for me. That's what I felt. When she said it, I thought I was right around my ovulation time and at a time where I was hoping that I was, but my there's an anxiety, a PTSD almost that comes from loss, where you have all the signs in front of you that possibly it's going to happen, that it's happening, and you still doubt it for some reason. I don't know if anyone else can attest to this, but I remember she said that and I wanted to take my calendar out and just read it and just go, okay, wait, 1 2 3, and because I said, oh, you are, maybe I am. I know that sounds weird, but that's totally what I thought at the moment. Before I got sad that I realized, oh my God, 5 months in, I've known the other ones like so early. I just started to cry and cry, and that's okay. I felt relieved when I got those tears out, and I realized I was relieved that the tears weren't of jealousy; they were just of sadness that she had to do all of that, you know, walking on eggshells around me all that time, and all the conversations that we had, I could tell she wanted to say something. Our friends that we have in common, I could tell they wanted to kind of talk about it. So it felt like a relief for both of us, but it made me sad that she couldn't do that earlier. And there was a sadness of like, wow, I wish I could. This year would have been awesome for us to have been pregnant together. I would have loved to have that news to share. So yes, those moments happen too, but it's okay. It's all okay. But it does give you hope and inspiration. I definitely felt that after she told me. And here's the thing, number 5, if your friend who has the fertility issues or has had issues or has suffered baby loss, if they should get triggered, please know that that's okay too. They, I'm sure you have a threshold of understanding for that. It's possible. They may have a twinge of why isn't this happening for me, but the way that you've shared this news should also make them kind of at some point in their own time, like this call of action of, I have to figure out a way to find my light again, my joy and my inspiration, my hope that this will happen to me. It can shake you up, it after you have your moment. But I think there are times where those of us who've gone through this just go, all right, shake it off, like just for a moment. Maybe it is possible. What do I need to do? Like what else can let me look into another fertility clinic. It just, this call to action sometimes happens of like, all right, all right, all right, what are we doing? What are you doing? I want this too. I want this for myself too. So it's not your responsibility to make them feel better, but you hiding the news is actually can be worse. So just to keep that in mind. But you've lovingly provided a statement that honors their challenges, and you're reminding them that they have been there, that you've been there for each other the entire time through the highs and the lows of your friendship, and that you trust that they can find a space to be happy for you too, and that they trust you to know that you're going to give them the space that they need to process the news. I think that's one of the most beautiful thing that you can do for each other, is truly, in that sense, you're really truly honoring the other. So I hope that that helps. um I think at the bottom line is, there is mutual respect that happens in a friendship like this. And I'm so glad that my friend and I have it, because, even as I'm sitting here and I felt called to make this video, I felt love, no doubt. I felt love. I think this might be a love letter to her if she's listening, is that I love her. I love you so much that I would have loved to have been um, part of this news and this joy earlier, just so that, because she had some complications, just so I could be an ear. And actually, some of her complications that she had, I had with my pregnancy with my daughter. And I, immediately when I did find out what she was going through, I was doing research and just trying to figure out, what she could do. And she was doing some of them already. it just it actually gave me a pause to not think about myself so much and dive into her world and support her. So I know that it's just out of love. I really really appreciate all that she was trying to do, but I hope this video helps from the perspective of someone who's gone through it, to just help you if you're out there trying to tell your own friend of how you can say so, with still validating their feelings, but also validating your joy. Um, but remember, just keep it light. I think, like I said, any type of text or email might be a good way to just give them some space, but adapt it to your own. I'm just going to say it one more time and in your own words, but I have some news to share with you. Our friendship is so important to me, and I love that it's solid enough for us to hold space for each other in times of challenges, but we also celebrate each other in times of joy. And today I have some joyful news to share with you. I'm pregnant. So I hope that helps. I would love to hear your feedback on that. Have you been in a situation where someone has told you, and you've had fertility issues or loss, and they've told you, and they've been completely insensitive? Have you been in a situation where someone told you something, gave the news or shared the news with you that made you feel taken care of in the process, but also allowed you to be there? I would love to hear your feedback on this, and just if you've been in a situation, or if you have a better way or something that you'd like to contribute that can help. um, One of the things, as I told you in the beginning of this, is that I have coming up is something called the Corner Table. It'll be our Facebook community for New Mommy at 40, the after party, if you will. So that after you've listened to an episode, that you can come there, give feedback, what you liked, what you didn't like, share your experiences in that topic, if that topic is familiar to you, and also get to know each other better, because Instagram and all that other stuff, like, the likes are great. I love getting them in the DMs, but just to kind of build a true community there. So I would love for you to meet us at Corner Table. I'll leave the information in the bottom of this video and also on Instagram, so that you could know where to find us there. And I hope that we get to do some more getting to know you activities and getting to know each other. The other thing that's happening is this video, or this podcast, is not usually a video podcast, but for the first episode, I really just wanted you to see me, hear me. I didn't want to do too many edits and clean it up too nicely, because part of life, especially mom life, is messiness. And I wanted to kind of do this in one take. So if it's not perfect, please forgive me. The other ones will sound a little bit better, especially when we have our guests. But every once in a while, I'll pop in so that you can get to know me a little bit more and do these solo episodes. And they'll probably be video, but starting soon, I'm going to post all of season 1 on YouTube as well. And I don't have video for all of the episodes, but we'll make it interesting so that you can be engaged and follow along. But for those of you who haven't been able to listen to season 1, it will also be available on YouTube. They'll be like Throwback Thursday. So we'll have new episodes of New Mommy at 40 season 2 on Mondays, and Thursdays will be throwbacks of season 1. So I really am excited to have those all out there for you. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook at New Mommy at 40. Also, our website, www.newmommyat40.com. And I'm so excited to get to know you and hear what you thought. Please tune in to us next week. Subscribe and follow right now so you don't miss an episode. And I really just hope that you take care of yourself and each other. Have a great one.